Given the recruitment of some of Manchester United's rivals has been so sharp in recent years, and also given that the new manager is now public, will the focus now shift towards player recruitment, exits, loans?
I don't know. This is a question you have to ask to the board. My focus is on the last remaining 4 games and getting the best out of those 4 games. But about recruitment process, if you have questions on that, it's better you speak to the board.
Ralf, can we get your reaction to the news this week that Erik ten Hag is going to be the next United manager? I know you haven't wanted to talk about that and you want to focus on the games, but now we know it's going to be him. What's your reaction to that news?
We don't know each other in person. We haven't met as yet in person, but from what I've seen him doing both at Bayern Munich when he was the under-23 coach and at Ajax now, I like his football, and I'm pretty positive that with a full pre-season, with having the chance to build and mold his own staff, also a new team, which is obvious. We will have a new team. With a full pre-season, I'm pretty sure that we will see a different team and improvement on the pitch.
Have you had any involvement in the process? Have you had any conversations with the board about his appointment? And do you know anything yet about your own role next season?
Well, I knew that Erik was one of the candidates the board spoke to, and obviously I told them, at least from what I had seen and known from people who had worked with Erik, that I think he would be a good choice, and I still believe that he is a very good choice. And all the other things we haven't had time so far to speak about.
Ralf, how's the team looking for tomorrow? Obviously, you had a lot of absentees the other day.
Yes, Scott McTominay will be back and fit to play. He has been training with us. He will train today, so he will be available for the game tomorrow. The same with Rafa Varane, and obviously Cristiano Ronaldo is available again. He's been training with us now. All the others are still injured, plus Paul Pogba, obviously, and with Paul, as it seems, after the scan we did yesterday or the day before yesterday, it's very unlikely that he will play until the end of the season again.
Do you think that Paul Pogba's played his last match for Manchester United?
The doctor told me that it will take 4 weeks minimum for him to recover, and since the last game is on end of May, so I don't think that it is very, very likely that he will be able to play again.
Ralf, no player should feel like their lives or that of their family is under threat because of football. How's Harry Maguire doing after that incident?
I haven't seen him because I only got to know about this terrible thing yesterday afternoon, and since then I haven't been able to speak with him. Yeah, but again, this is another bad sign of the crazy world we're living in, and obviously I feel very sorry for Harry that he has to make that terrible experience. But he knows that we're all behind him. The club is behind him. Everybody, the players, his teammates. But yeah, it's sad enough that crazy things like that happen.
Ralf, what have you made of the way Arsenal have played under Mikel Arteta? What do you think of their style of play?
Yeah, very fresh, very extremely young team, probably on average the youngest team in the league. Knowing that we spoke about that earlier on, that they lost the first 3 games away at Brentford 2-0. I remember me watching that game on TV. And I think they just draw the right conclusions of what they experienced earlier on in the season. Brought in some young players. Odegaard, for example, got rid of some players who didn't fit into that style of football. Yeah, it's high attacking team with fast strikers, pretty aggressive in the first third, always trying to press and counter-press, but still also vulnerable at the back. So, I mean, I like watching them actually, but hopefully not against us tomorrow. So it's up to us to be aware and prepared for what they're doing up front, but at the same time take advantage of the space that we hopefully will get in their half.
In terms of your Champions League ambitions, do you need to win the match?
I don't think that it makes sense to speculate about how likely it still is that we can finish fourth or wherever. It doesn't make sense after a performance like that at Liverpool. We just need to make sure that we play far better. This is the only way to deal with it. We need to get the best possible team on the pitch and then play in a different way with more conviction, with more confidence, with more aggressive behavior on the pitch. I mean, the way that we played at Liverpool, especially in the first half, it will be difficult to get something out of the game at Arsenal, but we will have to change show a completely different performance.
Ralf, what has the players' reaction been to that defeat against Liverpool? Have you seen it in training, their desperation to put things right?
When we only trained yesterday, because the day after the game obviously was recovery. Yesterday we trained some things, some issues in connection with the game, but the only real training session we are going to have is now in 1 hour's time. So, yeah, but I mean, they were as disappointed as we all were. So obviously it's now up to the players and to us to show a reaction on the pitch tomorrow.
Ralf, do you think there'll be a lot of ins and outs at the end of the season? I mean, I'm sure you've got a figure in your head, but will you be passing that information on to Eric of how many players you think that are needed to come in the summer?
I mean, it's obvious that there are quite a few players whose contracts are expiring. There might be a few others who, although they still have contracts, are already on loan and still want to be on loan or leave the club. So it will be a significant change and rebuild necessary, that's clear. But how many players and on which positions, as I said, I haven't spoken to Eric in person as yet. But if he asks me my opinion in person, I'm obviously ready and willing to speak with him about my experience. But on the other hand, he also will have his own ideas. But I mean, that it's not only 3 or 4 new players is obvious, bearing in mind how many players' contracts are expiring.